crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrooter.com. With your morning horde of Z's, your sip of chocolate coffee. I forgot my copy. Right before I started, Amy was yelling at me. Not yelling, saying good morning. Yeah, we're on. We're on live. Not live. We're on live later at noon. At noon today, Pacific time with Jean-Claude. Death of the petrodollar. He's done a few of these with people I know and respect. Although my take is, I get what they're all saying. And they're all friends of mine, and I know where they come from when they're talking about the things they're talking about. None of them have the full story. And what I'm going to try to do in our discussion today is talk about the full story. Death of the petrodollar is a misnomer for what's going on. It has to do with the controlled fiat monetary system that has always been controlled. Yes, there was a petrodollar arrangement made by Kissinger and Greenspan back in early 1970s so that they can go off the gold standard. But it's so much bigger than that. So much bigger than that. We've been off the petrodollar for a very long time. The petrodollar, that arrangement was complicated and was necessary in the 1970s. When computer and derivative trading started, there was no need for the petrodollar. Basically, it was taken over by the deep state to launder money for their nefarious stuff. And but get. I'll talk about it at 12 o'clock. But it wasn't in play. It hasn't been in play for decades. Just so everybody knows that. We're not talking about the death of the petrodollar now. It has nothing to do with it, truthfully. Anyway, really good conversation. We're going to talk about the death of the dollar. I would say the death of fiat money. There will be no replacement for the unbacked fiat U.S. dollar that is the world's global reserve currency. There will be no replacement. So we'll talk about that. Lots to talk about. So tune in to Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic 3, his third go-around. They keep shutting him down. Hopefully they won't shut him down before we have our discussion today. 12 o'clock Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Looking forward to it. All right. If you're looking forward to something to listen to, check out Greg Hunter's discussion with Cliff High. Cliff High is so beyond in his thinking, beyond what is going on today. He talks about where does this all lead us. I love that about Cliff, is that he looks at things today and understands what's happening and why, but he looks at where will this all lead us and the ultimate conclusions. I've been trying to do that on the road to Ruta since I got in 1999 into this battle to free gold and silver, which led to so many other things, including the road to Ruta theory, that there are people behind the scenes. He calls them a SOC, a self-organizing collective. But I think Cliff said in the interview they've been around since Reagan. I know they've been around since the beginning, since 1913, the beginning of unbacked fiat money. Now they've been trying to take down the old system since Reagan, I would say. In 1982, 81 and 82, Reagan had the Gold Commission. He set up the Gold Commission to see if we should go back onto a gold standard. Their ultimate conclusion was, yeah, we will at some point, but for now, we're just going to get our budget in order. And that was the plan. If we can't get the budget in order, then we'll probably have to go back to a gold standard. Then you got Paul Volcker raising interest rates to 20%. They didn't get the budget in order. They intensified the manipulation of everything through computers and derivatives. They actually started printing money going off the charts with Reagan's Star Wars. That was not by accident. This is all a plan to destroy the old system and bring back a new system. Who benefits from the old system? The bad guys. The question now is, who wants to break down the old system? Both sides. The bad guys have their remedy, which is through Klaus Schwab and a sovereign digital currencies and things like that. That will not work, in my opinion. No, not even close. Not in the USA. And that's what we're getting to. We are going to nationalism. Dick Allgaier is 100% wrong. But I don't blame Dick. I blame a little bit Michael, the guy who led him down this very dark path, because Michael is not a U.S. citizen. Michael doesn't understand what we stand for. It might sound idealistic to outsiders, but inside our country, I'm knee-deep in lefties all around me. And I know they're all, at heart, nationalists. They might not know it. But once they know the truth, everybody's going to embrace our country. As well they should. And the world will use that as someone to look at and say, oh my God, look what the U.S. did. They shut their borders. They're not trading with anybody. They put all their military on the borders of their country, and they're working to reestablish some kind of economic system because the old one was destroyed through the deep state. And they're running around arresting people who should be arrested. Countries like Australia and Europe, and they're going to every country will do the same thing, and they'll look at the U.S. as the guide. And I'm sorry that Dick Allgaier doesn't fully understand this, because he's been, I wouldn't say brainwashed, but he's been led to the dark side. Not as in doing evil things, but believing that we can't control what our economic system is about. And we absolutely can. Not only from an individual level, and a state level, a local level, a federal level, a national level, a global level, but from an ET level. My soul is so much more powerful than any ET, and so is yours. Where does the power come from? Who can take down these people? Or these aliens? Or whoever runs the system? Who is it who has more power? The soul or the individual? Or the bad guys or the good guys? I would say 100% the good guys. My soul has more power than any physical ET incarnation. I'm sorry, Dick. It's just, that's the way it is, and that's the way I run my life, and that's the way everybody on the planet, all humans on the planet, can run their lives. You are more powerful than any other force in the physical world. You are a soul being having an experience, a short experience, unfortunately, but you're having a physical experience. And when you leave this physical experience, you'll understand better why you were here, what you were doing, and how much power you really did have. And you will always have. Even if we lose this battle, we will not lose the next battle, the next time we come down, if we want to come down and have another physical experience to learn the lessons that we are learning right now. Oh my God, what a time to be on the planet to learn lessons. And the biggest lesson to me is self-sovereignty. You control your destiny. That is the biggest lesson that I think we're learning. And that's what Dick has, either his soul has forgotten, or maybe this is his progression. The way his soul is going to learn is through this dark and foreboding feeling that there's no way out, that they control our lives forever and there's nothing you can do about it except, build your crypto wealth so that you can survive better in their system. No, I don't believe that one for 1 second. So I'll keep fighting. Anyway, what's going on right now? Evergrande bonds tumble after report of technical default. Contagion slams China property market. It's not just China. They own huge amounts of property in Australia, in Canada, and the U.S. A lot of people are torn between, should I own land something physical because the dollar's going to be gone, or should I own gold and silver? And what happens to the property values if the banks collapse? Well, there's a lot of different scenarios, but there won't be any lending, so no one can buy a house unless you have gold and silver. And then it'll probably cost you a bar of silver to buy a really nice house. 2 bars will buy you a mansion. But it's a weird world we're heading in because the U.S. dollar will not survive this. The U.S. Federal Reserve note, let me be clear about this. There's a huge difference between the Federal Reserve note and a U.S. dollar minted by the U.S. Mint, which is basically change. But that's a philosophical difference. People won't know the difference right away. They will continue to use paper, but there will be no more electronic money. It could be Federal Reserve notes because the banks will have crashed and gone. And that has to do with the derivative market. Quadrillions in derivatives going bad. And then we will blame them. There are people to blame for this. Klaus Schwab, for example. Janet Yellen, for example. There are many people to blame, don't get me wrong. If you want to know a big line of people who are going to be arrested, go look at the people who control gold and silver behind the scenes. It's not even behind the scenes. Look at the CFTC, who their advisory committee is. And you'll see a long list of people, individuals from every bank who have colluded to perpetrate the con. Anyway, as we've been talking about, yes, Evergrande is the Lehman Brothers, but bigger. China is falling right around 9/11. By the end of the year, the end of the fiscal year, everything's going to go sideways. October, November, December will be something that we will experience what we should have experienced in 2008 when Hank Paulson went to Congress and said, we need $700 billion. The first response was no. Stock market dropped 50%. And then Obama and the criminals bailed out the entire system. We're going to experience what it feels like to not bail out the system, not bail out the bankers again. There's no way Congress would bail out the bankers again. So you have the too big to fail banks failing, which means everything you have in the system will be gone overnight. They will try to revive it. That's going to be the problem. There's nothing to revive. These banks have levered to the hilt and derivatized their entire balance sheet so that they are too big to fail. It's part of the plan. The only way for a large bank to survive is to be so big and have so many toxic assets that the government and the bank, the Federal Reserve Bank, cannot let them fail. But this time, they're going to have no choice. Congress will say no. You want to see that Dick Allgaier remote viewing of the congressman puking after Congress meets? That's when it is. When they do what they should have done in 2008. Now back then, we didn't have Bitcoin. Bitcoin came about a couple months after, on purpose. And now Bitcoin is pretty much a store of value. I wouldn't invest in Bitcoin. There's so many better cryptos. If Bitcoin was the only one there, yes, absolutely. But there's so many better cryptos now. Theta and Theta Fuel are my favorites. They can obviously from the past 24 hours, you can see that they can place the price of cryptos at zero with a click of a mouse, but they can do that with anything. They had a huge run up. This is the last 24 hours. Look at this. A huge run up to like 47,000, and then they had a slam down to 44. That's Bitcoin. That's the most stable of all the cryptos. I want to show you Theta. A lot of people say, oh my God, have you seen Theta? It's running up over $9. Oh my God, have you seen Theta? It's running below $6. This is the power of a mouse. They are not trading Theta. Theta isn't moving. They're trading derivatives of Theta. So look at this one-day chart. Up to $7.50. It was at 8. I don't know where. There it goes. It was at $9. $9 yesterday. And from $9 down to $6, 30% drop. This is a click of a mouse. They can do this in gold, silver, the stock market, the bond market. That is the power of the rig, which I will talk about with Jean-Claude. 100% rigged. There is no middle ground. Do not get excited if silver goes to $100 or $1,000. It is a fake price. I would expect silver to go to negative $40 before it went to $100. Negative $40 silver, just like they did with oil. Negative $40 oil. In what world does that happen? Now you can explain it. Well, it's the storage cost that freaked out the market. No, it's bullshit. It's a click of a mouse that placed the price of oil at negative $40 on purpose. Who went to jail for that, by the way? Why didn't JP Morgan go to jail for it? Because it was them doing it, along with their friends. Same with silver. Will they put silver at negative $40? I don't know, and I don't care. I know that $25 silver is a gift, especially right now. Now remember, the times they pressure assets are the times that they are most vulnerable. JP Morgan and the banking system is falling apart, so what do? They slam the assets that are the alternative, gold, silver, and cryptos. That is it's so easy to see, and I hope obvious for everybody. Nothing normal about this. This is all computers and derivatives. Or the invention of computers and derivatives and markets came from Alan Greenspan in the 1960s, working with his best friend John Kemeny, the inventor of basic computing. That's what Root A is. Root A is a programming term in Fortran that Alan Greenspan was using back in the day. And this is the 60s and 70s. His mentor, Arthur Burns, was the head of the Federal Reserve System. Those programs were implemented. That's why in 1987, Ronald Reagan, who was looking to take out the bankers, put Alan Greenspan in charge of the Federal Reserve System. Alan Greenspan was the biggest gold bug on the planet back then. Alan Greenspan got into office. Within 2 months, the entire system had a computer market meltdown, crash of 1987. Ever since then, they've been trying to figure out how to get rid of the cabal. Yes, people within the Federal Reserve trying to figure out a way to destroy the banking system. All on the road to Ruta documents. It's happening right now. I don't have a lot of time today. Lots going on. Again, 12 o'clock Pacific time. I'm on with Jean-Claude to talk about the death of the petrodollar, which died decades ago. What they're saying about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's shaken after Coinbase CEO slams the SEC for engaging in intimidation tactics behind closed doors. Duh. The SEC is the problem. Regulators run cover for the manipulation of all markets. Go ask Reggie Middleton. If you love cryptocurrencies, you should all support Reggie and Veritasium. What did Veritasium, what was it invented to do? Peer-to-peer transactions. It's not going to be backed by gold or anything like that. It facilitates peer-to-peer transactions. That's all it does. You can transact in gold and silver, in stocks and bonds. That's why the Jamaican Stock Exchange was implementing Veritasium before the SEC went in. They were working with Reggie at Veritasium, went into the Jamaican Stock Exchange and said, you need to get rid of Reggie Middleton and Veritasium after they signed an MOU. The SEC is told what to do by their controllers. Period, exclamation point. Those entities within the SEC need to go to jail. They don't need to be looked at for crypto regulation. I hope everybody understands this. And one of the largest players, the CEO of Coinbase, is saying, quote, some really sketchy behavior coming out of the SEC recently. Brian Armstrong. Hey, Brian. Go ask Reggie Middleton just how criminal they are. And careful, they'll take you down. They don't give a shit who you are. They don't give a shit who they hurt. Go ask Chris Giancarlo about when him and Donald Trump, everybody's favorite Donald Trump, destroyed the crypto market back in 2017 and 18 by using the Bitcoin coming out of Mt. Gox in a bankruptcy. That's how much power they have. So you either bend over and take it, or they're going to take it from you. Now is the time to get your assets in your own possession. When these banks go down, there will be no Coinbase. There will be no Coinbase. There will be no Kraken, be no Binance. When the banks go down, poof, you need to be out of the exchanges long before. Get your cryptos off the exchanges today. Get them in your own possession. How do you know that you're in your possession? Because you can have access to your own private keys. Nobody else holds your cryptos for you. Get out of Coinbase. This is a warning shot. You can't talk against the deep state SEC. Brian Armstrong, they're going to go after you. It doesn't even matter. When the banks go down, Coinbase goes down. You won't even know the price of cryptos. All these exchanges will go down. And the more criminal ones will just take the coins that they have. If you have Tether sitting there waiting to buy the bottom, like a lot of my friends are, Bix, there's going to be a big slam, I'm going to buy the bottom. You're not going to have anything to buy it with. The exchanges will go down with a banking collapse. You'll have nothing. In your own possession only now. Now, third-party risk, there's no reason for it. Take what little you have left, get it in your own possession, and wait. Because it's the only way to get through. Anyway, lots going on today. I have a 9/11 discussion with Josh of roadtoruta.com. We have a new series coming out. You guys are going to want to see that. That's going to be on the private road. We're going to talk about 9/11, the road to Ruta, and what really happened on 9/11 and how it reverberates every 9/11 and this coming 9/11. What's going to happen? Go check that out. Make sure, my site will probably go down as well when the banks go down, but make sure you put your name and email address in so I can send you emails if the email system's up and running. Lots are going to change. You're not going to know what the hell's going on for a while. Food, water, gun, cash, gold and silver, and cryptos in your own possession. It's too late probably to stock up on the other stuff. We're running out of time. But definitely get your cryptos off any exchanges. You don't want to buy the bottom because you will have no exchange to buy the bottom. They will take your tokens no matter what coin it is in. They control the private keys. Please do not try to buy any bottoms. They control the private keys. This is Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. Talk to you later.